Welcome to this particular tutorial. This is Calvin's. Today I want to show you a very accelerating software which is very handy when it comes to clock in and clock out in an institution by the employees. So here's the system. Let me open up the system. It's based in Excel VBA. So when we click this icon here, you're able to see that the system is opening up, and it won't take long before it pops up. So you can see here we have the system. This is the window. This is the default window, which will always pop up first. Here now we can do a few things before we clock in and before we clock out. First of all, we want to ensure that the system is free or is empty. It does not contain any foreign data, because now we want to use it as an institution. So now, because we are an institution, we can be a school, we can be an hospital, we can be a garage, it can be any institution, colleagues. So now we need to erase any data which may be existing in this system. So we go to the system setting here. Here you will find that we have few settings that we need to do. We can change the system admin. We can update the institution's details. We can clear data from the system. So first of all, let us clear data from this particular system. So when you click that one, you will be able to be confirming here. This action will delete all data from the database. Are you sure you wish to continue? So we want to say yes. So already the system is now blank. So there's no foreign data within the system. So we go back, but before we go back, we can even update the institution's details. So we can update the institution details. So here you display the current details. So let us update it as XYZ. XYZ high school, XYZ high school. So XYZ high school. Then you can put here perseverance is key. Perseverance is key. Then here you can say XYZ, for example, XYZ gmail.com. Then mobile can be 0700. Okay, then we submit. So we have updated the institution's details as per your institution. So you will say okay. So we go back. So those are some of the settings that you need to do before you proceed. So now we want to register. We want to register. We want to sign up with the software, because before you start using it, before you start clocking in and clocking out, you must be able to have signed up or have registered with this software. So now you come here, register a new user. So because we are new users, we need to come here and sign up. We need to register with the software. So your name, Calvin's, Calvin's uh, Calvin's Joga. Then user ID will be Cal1. Then the password would be Cal12. Then we confirm the same Cal12. So the secret code can be your ID number, it can be your TC number, it can be your staff number, anything that you can easily remember. So let me put 2 as my secret code. It's very crucial when you come to a situation where you have forgotten your password. You'll use that secret code to retrieve your password. So we say submit. So you can see here we have in green fonts here we have registration successful, meaning your registration has gone through. So then we register the second user, Charles Karasi. So Charles Karasi, the user ID, we can say SHA1, password SHA12. We repeat the same SHA12. Then the secret code, anything can be 3. Then we submit. Registration successful. Then we can register the next user, Belinda Oranga. Then user ID Bell1. Then password Bell12. We repeat Bell12. The secret code maybe it's 4. So we submit. Okay. So we can again register the next one, like for example Rose or Pige. Then the user ID can be Rose1, Rose12, Rose1. Then the secret code can be 5, for example. Then you submit. So that's how you will be registering or signing up with the software. Then we can move back to the login page. So we have signed up. So now you are able to clock in and clock out by the virtue of you having signed up. You are able to clock in and clock out. Now let us clock in. So when we clock in, we press this button here, clock in. So when you press clock in, it will ask for credentials. So you can see saying wrong credentials, meaning we have not entered our username and the password. So let me say Carl1 my username and Carl12 my password. So I will come here and press login. So when I press clock in, you're able to see what it's saying. Welcome and good afternoon, Calvin Njoga. You have successfully clocked in. Have a great working time. Thank you. So you can see it's able to detect that's now afternoon. So if it were in the morning, then the greeting could have been welcome and good morning, Calvin Njoga. If it is in the evening, it will easily detect that particular time. So we say okay. So I've now clocked in. The next user can clock in. Let's say SHA1, 2. So then we say clock in. So you can say welcome and good afternoon, Charles Karasi. You have successfully clocked in. Have a great time. Thank you. So we say okay. Then the third user can clock in. Then one, though people will be clocking at different times of arrival. Okay. So we clock in. And so you welcome and good afternoon, Belinda Oranga. You have successfully clocked in. Have a great working time. Thank you. So you can see it's very, very nice. So the third user can be Rose, uh, uh, Rose1, 2. Then you clock in. Oh, wrong credentials, meaning Rose, we have entered wrong credentials, so it should be Rose1, then Rose1, 2. So when you clock in, we'll say good afternoon, Rose Opige, you have successfully clocked in, have a great working time. Thank you. Okay. So that's how the users or the staff members will be clocking in. Okay. So then uh, if you happen to have forgotten your password, you will come here and simply change your password. Not even changing, you'll be able to retrieve your password. So for example, let me say I'm the one who have forgotten the password, so say forgot. So it will say enter correct user ID first before you click this button. Okay, so you will come here and enter your user ID. So for example, Carl1. So when I now say forgot password, um, this one will pop up. This small window will pop up. So you're supposed to type your secret code. When you type your secret code, it will be able to retrieve for you your password. So when I tap 3 and say OK, nothing happens because my secret code is not 3. So it will be able to detect that. So I can type 2. So when I type 2 and then I say OK, you're able to see now it has detected that is my secret code, and now it has retrieved my password. And now it's saying congratulations, Calvin Njoga, your password has been successfully retrieved. Your password is Carl12. Okay, so that one I've already now retrieved my password. If it is this user who has forgotten the password, just say forgot password, then it will ask you to enter your user ID. Let me type 3, that is the secret code for that user. Then it will simply call you by the name. Congratulations, Charles Karasi. Your password has been successfully retrieved. Your password is Cha12. Okay, so you can see it's a very nice way of retrieving those passwords, and that's a very nice thing. So you need to remember your user ID and the secret code. Those are very, very important. Use numbers that you can easily remember. So that's how you will be retrieving your password. That's how you'll be retrieving your password. Then, if you want to um, access the data, there is there is the user who will be acting as the admin will be able to access that data, clock in and clock out data, and this user will be able to print and avail that particular printout to the workers or the administration. So this user should be assigned that role, and that one we do in the setting here. So in the setting here, we are able to change system admin. So the super admin will be able to change the system admin at will. So the super ID will super admin will have admin one. That's the username of the super ID admin one. Then the password will be admin one two. Then now is assigning the new admin user ID to this user called Bell one. That's the user ID of that user. Then her password is Bell one two. So that means that when it comes to accessing the data and printing and doing so and doing search, it's this user who will be able to have that privilege to access the data. So we have changed it. So the super admin here will be able to change this one at will. He can be the same super admin who will be accessing the data, or he or she can assign a user who will be able to do that work. So then we submit. So when we submit, we say admin changed successfully. Okay. So the super admin can change this admin who will be accessing the data at will, or the super admin can still be the same person accessing the data. So that's how we will be accessing the data. It is the admin who is assigned that role, the one who will be having that privilege to access the data. Okay. So again, we should be able to know that this system, sometimes you may want to exit. You may want to exit. So when you exit this particular system, uh, the data that already entered into it will never be lost. It will not be lost. It will be saved when you are exiting the system. So when you exit the system, for example, let me press exit. I've already exited the system, and now uh, I should feel very confident that my data has not been lost. The data, the clock in and maybe clock out for this day hasn't been lost. It has been saved, and it's very, very safe. So when, for example, when we open it up again, uh, and then now we want to do clock out, we are done clock in, so now we can do clock out. So clock out, we enter our user ID and password, then you press clock out, then you press clock out. So when you're entering your user ID, cal 1, then cal 1 2, you're able to say clock out. Now we are clocking out. So are you sure you want to log out? Yes. So you have successfully clocked out by for now. That means you are leaving the institution's compound and now you are going home. So you are clocking out. The next user clocking out, for example, SHA-1, SHA-1-2. And then you press clock out. Are you sure you want to clock out? Yes. You have successfully clocked out. So the next user may be Bell1, Bell1-2. Press clock out. Okay. Are you sure you want to clock out? Yes. You have successfully clocked out. Bye for now. Next user, Rose. Rose 1-2. Clock out. You have never logged in. So this user did not log in, or this user does not exist within the system because I've entered the wrong user ID. There is no user with this user ID. So the system has already detected that one. So okay. So let me put rows 1, and then rows 1, 2. So clock out. Are you sure you want to clock out? Yes. You have successfully clocked out by now. So that's how you do clock out. You simply put your user ID and password. And this is where you can put your user ID only, then you clock out. It's not, this one is not very a must. You just enter your user ID, then you clock out. But clocking in, you put your user ID and password. Clock out, you can even use your user ID only, then you press clock out. That is very, very nice. So now we have clocked out. So then it means we can now access the data. When you are accessing the data, you should be the person who has been assigned to access the data for clock in and clock out. So you remember we changed that one to Carl 1, the person who was supposed to be accessing the data. Press OK. You have entered wrong credential, meaning now I've put the user ID and the password of the user who is not or who has not been given the privilege to access that data. So now we need to put in the user ID and the password of the person who is supposed to be accessing the data. So the person who is accessing the data is the one who will come and put her user ID, Bell 1, and her password or his password, Bell 1, 2. Then you press access data. So you can see we have the data for clock in and clock out. Very nice data here. You can see the dates here, the names of the user, and the clock in time. So you remember we clocked in, and then you remember we were clocking out. So the clock out times and clock in times very neatly and very nicely captured. So you can even check. You can filter based on for example, if you want to filter based on the first user Calves Njoga, you can just come here and say select. Then you can put Calves Njoga only. Then you can see only Calves Njoga is now appearing in this list. You can put any user, Charles Karasi. You can put Charles Karasi, for example, and select. You put Charles Karasi. Then only Charles Karasi's data for clocking in will be appearing. So if you want to filter Charles Karasi based on the dates, also you will come and filter whichever date you want. Then it will show you only the data based on Charles Karasi and the dates and his clocking ins and clocking out. So that's how you'll be using this table. So as of now, because the data is very small, let me just have everything there. So now we are able to print preview. You can print preview. When you print preview, you will be able to see that we have this particular print preview. I've zoomed in, so you are able to see this. So by the time you will be printing, the detail that will appear here will be the one that you had already entered the system. So this one is the previous one. So but when you print, you'll find that it is the detail that you are putting for your institution is the one which will now be appearing in the printout. It's the one which will be appearing in the printout. So for example, let me print this one. We check. So we can print that. So when you print, we can print using Microsoft Print PDF to PDF. So then we can print. So when we print that, now we just want to confirm if the printout will have the details. So you can see X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. Then we want to save the desktop. So, okay, we have printed that one. But here you will always be pressing that one. So you can see, now you can see when you look at this particular print preview, now the XYZ high school motto, persevering ski email, that one. You can see everything has now changed according to the data that we have in the system. So meaning this one here will always be availed or will always be displayed when you do the printing. After printing, the correct one will come, both in the hard copy and in the soft copy. So you can see that. And when you look at this printout, let me zoom it out. When you look at this particular printout, you're able to see that the only part of the table which has been captured is the one which is containing the data. The one which is containing the data is the only part of the table which is captured. We have not captured everything here. We have not captured everything here up to whichever length of the table. We have only captured here only. So that is very good. That one now means our table is very, very dynamic. It only will capture the area which is containing data. So this is dynamic printing, which is very, very good. So even when we add more data here, if there were a lot of data here, it will capture that only, leaving the rest of the part. So it is dynamic. It is very, very dynamic, depending on the data which is in there. That is where it will capture for printing. So that is very, very nice, and that dynamism is what we require here. So that is how you will access the data and do the printing of that data. So after print preview, you can simply press this one to print. When you press this one, it will print. But now the printer was PDF. You can easily put the file name here, then you print. Or you can print direct. You connect to your printer, then you click this one, you print this data, and then that's how you will avail it for use. So that's how you will access this data. So then we go back. So now we can go back to our form, and then from there we're able to see that we can press this one to exit. So when you press this one to exit, because now we have clocked on, we have clocked in, we have accessed the data, and even printed the data for that particular date. Supposing the dates were different, you'll be able to filter the table appropriately and then print that. So otherwise, that's how we will clock in and clock out using this particular very nice software that will be able to track all the clock in and clock out data uh, just at the fingertip. Otherwise, let us exit. Thank you for watching up to the end, and may God bless you.